Hello and welcome to Turning Point Tactics. And on this episode, we're doing a Shadow Hunt deep dive looking at the Celestian Insidiants. It's going to be a long episode, so strap in because it's going to be packed with useful information about how you can essentially play and get the most from the new team coming out to Killteam right now. So, with all that said, let's get straight into it. Hello and welcome to Turning Point Tactics, the competitive Killteam 40k YouTube channel focused on giving you the strategies and tactics to seize initiative every turning point. I'm your host Ryan, and I'm here to help give you the tips and tricks to elevate every part of your Killteam experience. So no matter if you're a casual or a competitive player, there should be something here for you. If you're interested in supporting the channel, there's a few ways you can go about doing so. You can join the Patreon, where you get access to members only Discord, Patreon priority questions, early access to content, exclusive content, and tournament awards. Or if you find yourself buying Killteam goodies or hobby supplies, you can use one of our affiliate links in the description below, or discount codes with Crossfire Games and GG Prints. We're always keen to hear your thoughts and feedback, so don't leave that comment box empty, let us know what you think. Once again, thanks for your support, and with all that said, let's get into it. Hello and welcome to Turning Point Tactics. We are back talking about the latest release for Killteam, Shadow Hunt. And this episode is focusing on the more righteous of the teams, the Celestian Insidiants.
That means me.
So, obviously, I need an expert to talk about novitiates. Sadly, Ben Hall Roberts wasn't available, so I had to settle for Bart instead. But luckily, he was, I think, the number one ITC novitiates player last year, and has quite a bit of experience running the sisters. So,
There's a little correction. Not last year, the previous year, but
okay.
I played just a couple hundred games with novitiates. So, and I've been waiting for this release for a long time. So here I am. I'm gonna bore you to death with my jokes and all of that. And by the way, I'm Bud. If in case you don't know me, so good evening, good day, good morning, and a happy New Year to all of you.
There you
Uh,
go. So, yes, essentially, hopefully you've all read the man or seen the Man Reads books, whoever's videos you've watched. There will be some on my channel if you want to watch those, and you can get an overview of the views, the rules, sorry. But what this episode is focusing is a bit more of a deep dive. We want to go into the sort of the tactics, a bit more of a considered thought. Now, luckily, Bart's had a few hours now just to stare at this book non-stop, very similar to the way in which I stared at Deathwatch rules. So we're in a good place, and we're going to try and pick as much of that out of his brain as we possibly can, to hopefully give the sisters a good start into the competitive season. I think that's where we'll begin. So,
but before we get to that, a few disclaimers.
Yeah.
This is a very fresh take, so everything that we say may be wrong, especially everything or anything that I say that might be entirely wrong. You need to consider I'm a Sisters of Battle fanatic when it comes to Killteam. I'll be overly excited about a team and I will overrate them 100%. So just keep that in mind. That's all I'm going to say about that.
So when Bart says S tier for everyone else, that means they're a C tier team. All right. So we set the team now, right? And it's like the only other things you get more excited about than Sisters of Battle is going to be another dwarf team. So it's a good caveat.
Imagine sister dwarfs in space.
Female dwarfs in space
with beards.
That's your
and
ideal
little
team.
Cherubs.
Hey, there's a kit bash opportunity there, man. There you go.
There you go.
So most people have probably seen, because this got like spoiled months and months ago, which is a bit of a shame, but hey, it is what it is. But it means that a lot of people got to do their sort of kit bashing early. But people have seen that it's a 9-operative team, right? So that's the first bit of information that you need to know. The majority of the operatives are going to be 2 APL. The leader is 3 APL base, but we'll get into the faction rules in a second and explain how that's obviously going to be changing as the game progresses quite quickly. Archetypes, everyone already knows this probably again from the leaks, but they're security and seek and destroy. I don't think they're necessarily the best archetypes, but honestly, not necessarily the worst either. I think they have some play with what the team wants to try and achieve. So they've got some options there. that's sort of the overview of the team, sort of just general structure. I don't know if you've got any points on that, Bart, before we go into the faction rules that you want to try and pull out of anything of this.
No, I guess even if we end up not liking the TACOP selection, we need to keep in mind that fingers crossed we're gonna get a new deck around September this year. So maybe the
September,
situation is
October,
going
that
to
sort of time,
change.
yeah.
So there's that. Yeah. So because I'm a nerd, geek, and a fanatic, I actually got loads of different boxes and kit buys to my team. And when I thought about which operatives to build, praise for those Spanish leagues because I could establish which operatives in what quantity I needed. And we know that you can take up to 2 cremators, so these are the flamer ladies. And other than that, everyone is a one-off. Of course, apart from the warriors. So I built both leader options. And then I built 2 flamers, 4 warriors, and 1 of each specialists. So this is my roster, which basically means like all the options that I think are viable. Because you may drop the flamers, you may drop a specialist at some point if you really want to. I don't think you will in many cases, but if you really want to, that's probably the way to go about it. So that means that you need up to 4 warriors if you want to have all possible solutions available. So yeah, I guess there's that.
I think generically they're basically a one box team, aren't they? But you probably,
Yeah,
like, if you're
you can make
competitive,
them work from one box.
yeah. But you probably do want to, I think, have the flexibility with some of the specialists. We like the cremators. I think the warriors are actually okay in this team. I don't know if I don't think they're better than any of the specialists, but they're not bad, which is more than we said that for some warriors. Okay, so faction rules again. Hopefully, people have already seen how the faction rules work. If you don't, just go to one of the many man reads books videos that are out there. But the main gist for this is that essentially the team is going to get inspired. They're going to get that through charging or by killing operatives with 6 wounds or greater. The main benefit for that is they're going to get severe for all the weapons on their data card. So which is cool, right? So they're going to get severe on their various things, and they've got quite a lot of piercing crits weapons and shotgun and all that sort of stuff. So they have things that interact with that quite well, which is good.
If you say so.
So yeah,
I'm sorry, but I do not consider a silenced water pistol as a weapon. No, sorry. This is something as it's supposed to be deterrent and deterrent only. And it's like you can take one of those sprays to battle a cockroach or a mosquito, but then you're taking the same spray can to battle a very angry fox or a bear, and it's not going to work.
yeah.
And like this is the comparison we're talking at. Like these crossbows. These are the equivalent of exaction buttons on release. I'm just gonna slap you. That this is what you're talking about. Yeah,
At least they're
airsoft guns
silent,
with
I
a
guess.
silencer.
At least they're silent. The leader one is a bit better. We will get onto those, but I don't disagree with you. The shooting, the range shooting of this team is pretty lackluster. So the main benefit comes from the fact that this team is going to be a melee team, and therefore you're going to have severe in melee. They also have the weapons of the witch hunters special rule, which for me is a very like niche rule, where sometimes against like random teams it comes up quite a lot. Like against Brew Brothers, it comes up quite a lot because they have loads of psych stuff with the Magus, and I believe even the what's it called, Big Dude has psychic powers as well. But against a lot of other teams, it's going to just do absolutely nothing. But essentially, what that does is you can't be affected by psychic actions or psychic rules. So just kick whoop covered in the nuts.
Yeah, like I guess in the context of current classified metagame, you'll get tiny benefits, like let's say wolf scouts are less likely to pick the sorcerer or whatever is the name of that operative, the storm, the weather forecast guy. They're less likely to take him just because he's a much easier target to deal with. His weapons are worse, so there's that. But other than that, yeah, it's not a huge upside. I don't think this is one of the stronger parts of this team and stronger sides of this team. Yeah, and in case you did not watch any man reads the book kind of videos flowing out there, spoiler alert, we have to roll dice with this team, unfortunately. The days of us not having to roll any dice are gone. Sad. But, but yeah, here we are. Yeah, I guess. What do you think about the other faction role, the one that benefits you dying?
Martyrdom, yeah, Martyrdom. So that is the last bit of their kit. So yeah, so the psychic stuff, it's niche, right? I think probably you're going to forget that a model is a psyker and not get the benefit, and then later on go, oh, that guy had the psychic keyword, whatever, and not realise. So it's going to be that infrequent, in my opinion. But you are every single game going to be working on Martyrdom. But do you think that's not the case? I think for the psyker stuff. Or...
I mean, I very much dislike losing models by design in principle. As in, like, my plan is not supposed to be about me losing operatives. That's why if someone says, "Oh, I'm going to play martyrs as my tag," I'm like, I'm sorry, but your plan is to deliberately start losing the game to have a chance to win it later. And unfortunately, Martyrdom is a bit like that. Luckily, there is a way to benefit out of that without dying, and as and when you will lose some operatives, because you will lose some operatives throughout the game. Otherwise, you're just crushing your opponent regardless. So as and when you will lose your operatives, it's good to have some benefit coming out of that. So there's that. I guess one thing that I should probably mention around the witch hunter stuff, so the special rules that they gain against psychers, provided that the ruling will be exactly as per WTC, a model that itself is not a psyker but benefits from a psychic role, as in when it gets within the range of the witch hunter's ability, it can't use that rule anymore. So we have to be mindful that even if someone gets like a psychic buff or something, so it uses the psychic rule of thought, when it gets close to a space none, it just loses the ability. It can't use it anymore. So there's that. But let's get back to Martyrdom. Which of the buffs do you like most, Ryan?
So I think the one that you're going to be taking almost all the time is extra APL. I think it's just so universally good for the majority of the time. It's going to let you have better control on objectives. It's going to let you do more things with your operatives. That sort of thing. I think it's a good buff. I know you want to probably talk about the dashes, but for me, I think that's probably where you're going to start, because this team feels like it's a control based team to me, and the +1 APL I think is one of the better ones. You obviously have a heal D3+2, which might be useful sometimes. If you've got someone where it's going to make them not injured, and that then means that they can make an objective, and therefore they can do something. Like, sure, it's nice to have it in the back pocket as an option. I'm not again convinced that it's going to be something you want to focus your game plan on. And then clearly you have the weapons on your data card get ceaseless. This team doesn't actually have that many easy to access rerolls. Outside of that, like, they have some situational ones. One's when you're hurt and stuff like that. We'll go into strat poison a bit. So maybe if you don't feel like you need the APL, and you're just going to be just charging and fighting, then Ceaseless is a nice buff. I think that's probably where I'm at with them.
I guess I do agree about APL because importantly, that team hasn't got a model that is a straight up comms.
Right.
So having an access to give yourself an extra APL, it's like, yeah, they do have a comms, but it requires you to go through several hurdles and like perform 3 backflips in the process to actually get to that point. But when you do, you get it permanently, so that's good. You don't lose that APL for after you expend the operative. You just get it and you keep it. I think because some players will definitely have that question: can you do it twice on the same model? No, because the base APL is still 2, so you cannot buff them twice with that +1 APL. The other thing I wanted to mention about those dashes will be very much situational, but there will be certain cases in which you'll catch your opponent off guard. Like we mentioned that I think we both see this team as more of a melee mid-range kind of team. So it is important to have the reach to your opponent, and the immediate combo that I figured when I read the rules like back and forth yesterday, it was you may have a model that's very far from an opponent. You will have another one which is much closer to your opponent. Let's say it sits on the middle objective, and the one behind, which is further away from your opponent, is your melee model that looks like a model that's supposed to counter charge whoever is going to kill the model on the objective. And let's say they somehow kill that model on the objective, and rather than counter charging that operative, you dash towards it from the benediction, and then use one of the ploys to give yourself +1 inch movement on a charge, and all of a sudden, between the +1 inch and the dash, you performed a 13-inch charge into something that was very far behind on there. And so I think it is important for a melee team to have that potential reach when it comes to charge distance. And again, it will require some backflips and a lot of setup, but it's possible. So in a way, I get super excited about it because I say, oh yeah, it's possible. But we have to keep in mind that there is some context to it. There are certain restrictions, and it just doesn't automatically happen. And there are so many teams that can just automatically do something that's crazy. Looking at you, Murderwing, or Canoptic, or Wolf Scouts. So yeah, we're not in that territory. So there's that. But otherwise, I think healing is situational. Again, you're a melee team, so you will take some damage in the process every now and then. So it is important for you to be able to heal somehow. It's good that they have it. And it's not going to be like, okay, so you've got an injured model and another model, so I'm going to charge the healthy one, kill it, and then shoot the other one with a bolt pistol and finish it off. Because when the model you're going to kill in melee is going to die, you may actually heal the other one, and all of a sudden it's out of your shooting range when it comes to damage capability. And last but not least, Ceaseless. I'm a player who absolutely enjoys and loves throwing crack grenades left, right, and center. And most of the teams that I play do throw good crack grenades. And one of my initial thoughts was like, okay, so can this team actually throw good crack grenades? The sad thing is that you don't benefit from Ceaseless from that benediction thing because crack grenades are not on your data card. Then you do not benefit from that severe when you get excited because that is not on the data card. So again, we're not using that, but you may benefit from one of the gambits, the one that gives you punishing, because it just works on all of your weapons. And you may benefit from one of the tactical ploys that gives you ceaseless or relentless, depending on whom you're shooting. So
how much
there is a potential for ceaseless or relentless punishing crack grenades, which already sounds quite decent, I'd say.
And so, like, some of the like the source that I thought of when it comes to these benedictions is really again. So again, it's about how we play this team as like a crit-up control team. But like the fact that you can probably have two sisters on an objective, you might have a scenario where it's like, okay, you said like I'm gonna charge this sister and then shoot the wounded one. Well, A, you can heal that sister up. B, you can charge that sister into the other model. Or if it's a APL contesting thing and you've got two sisters that are 2 APL and they want to move charge kill and then tap that objective, well, instead you're going to go, actually I'll just make that sister 3 APL and now you can't do it, right? So like you have all these different ways to be able to get around people's APL plays. But as you said, like it's like you then have to have one of those models on engage to be able to do the charge, or you have to, be in the right position to be able to reach them, or you like need to have the right number of APLs on the objective, or you've put two models to be exposed on the objective in the first place. It's like there's so many caveats and hints, or potential things that can go wrong with this team, but also it gives you these options to be able to play them in an interesting way, I guess.
The way I look at this team is like the cool thing about it is that it looks different to what we already have in the metagame. Because on one hand, I look at this team, it's like, so they look like weird version of Mandrix.
Yeah.
Because of that long threat range and 4/6 weapons melee and 9 operatives, and they're not that, they're not that exciting otherwise. But then I look at them as like, so into hordes, if I give someone APL early, I may actually start playing like Harlequins with charge, kill with the 4/4 mace, and then shoot someone with a flamer or a bolt pistol. We're gonna forget about the airsoft guns. These will only serve you to deal some chip damage as and when you get the opportunity, which you should not get from your opponent. But so there's that. And then I think about them from a different perspective, and I look at them as like they really behave a bit like Marines when it comes to taking charges, and they're very tanky in melee. So it's like a group of very clumsy Plague Marines that every now and then will get super fast to get to one enemy operative and kill it, and say they do something entirely different. So that's cool about the team. What is absolutely not cool is that they took away the faith dice. And of course, GW get a personal grudge token from me for absolutely destroying the crossbow, the condemner stake thrower, because now it's just like it got so nerfed in comparison to what it used to be before the release of this team. It's just sad.
It is odd, like the significant power difference in the crossbow, because and don't be wrong, like having an entire team of silent 3/3 dev 2 severe piercing crits weapons probably wouldn't be fun to play against, but like you didn't need to give it to all of the team, or you could have made it so that some of them are good, and the leader one's okay, I think personally, but the
reason why the leader one is okay is, as far as I recall, the leader gets both the relic condemner stake thrower and the relic bolt pistol.
Yeah.
As the other option compared to melter pistol. So melter pistol is obviously amazing, but it's only 3-inch range.
Right.
Yeah. The other options, like it's good enough that it may be sufficient when facing I'd say 7 all the way through to 8, maybe 9 wound models. I think 8. So it's like 7 or 8 wound models is where you may consider taking the relic bolt pistol and the relic package. So there's that. Hence, I built both leader options way in advance, anticipating that this might be the case.
It's
because you could already read it in Spanish.
Right,
I could not read it in Spanish, but praise the Google Translator.
But yeah, so I'll quickly summarize it. So clearly, you got inspiring. There's a lot of ways to get inspiring. It feels like to me that the team will very quickly during the turning points become inspired. I think by the end of turning point 2, half the team is probably inspired, maybe more, and then by the end of turning point 3, it's probably everyone. The weapons of the witch hunters, situational. It's going to come up sometimes. It can be impactful. Like again, I'm pretty sure like the mystic buff is a psychic benefit. So like when they're shooting you, they'll be able to get a benefit versus that kind of thing. Makes teams less reliable. And then in my opinion, it's probably, well, I think it's Ardor, which is the +1 APL, is your most common martyrdom benefit you're going to hand out. Then it's going to be probably the Ceaseless. Then it's going to be the dash or charge, and then the health regeneration. So those are your main things. And again, for some reason, every single one of these have a caveat. Like the dash or charge has to be closer to the martyrdomed model. You can't just do it anywhere, right? Which is...
Yeah, but there is that... It has to be closer, but there's that equipment that allows you to ignore the visibility and range requirement once per game.
Yes.
And that's a cool one because all of a sudden it may allow you to perform some nasty plays that your opponent won't see, or even if they do see it, they won't have a way to play around it. So there's that. Where shall we look next?
I think we go straight into
the host.
Yeah, I think we go straight into the ploys. So we've got the standard 4 strat ploys, 4 Firefight ploys. So suspect and eliminate. This is the way of getting punishing, right?
Which one is it? Because like you can't expect me to remember the names of that stuff. It's like...
You've had mere minutes to look at this. What do you mean? So suspect and eliminate is the method of getting punishing. So essentially, you're going to select an enemy operative, and everyone that's visible and within 2 of that is going to gain 1 of your suspicion tokens.
So it's interesting because like obviously we are fully aware that GW designs those teams way in advance. So to me, it almost screams at you that they were supposed to benefit from severe plus punishing combo.
Yeah,
not anymore. It's sad, but I mean this is what could have replaced the faith dice. I
completely agree. Like to me, this feels like, oh, okay, like. This is how you get it. But yeah,
and that would be something that would justify the airsoft gun crossbows.
Yeah, right.
Because then they would say like, yeah, it's a bit too powerful if your silent weapons are too strong, considering you've got severe punishing combo in the team. But guess what? You don't anymore. So there's that. But just not to repeat whatever you already observed and listened to in those regular videos, the Man Reads Book videos. I think that looking at the strategy ploys and firefight ploys, what I see is that this team is not heavily relying on too many ploys, as in like, yeah, in most cases you want to play the holy resilience ploy, unless you're playing against like someone who's like just a shooty team with no melee capabilities. You really want to play that one. Then looking at the firefight ploys, you've got like 2 which are decent but situational. So it's like very much reaction based firefight ploy economy. So you're not by design heavily dependent on your command points and playing certain ploys, without which your team is just rubbish. So there's that. I mean, it's not that strong even with those ploys, but yeah, what I wanted to say is that like, I'm looking at these and it's like, yeah, I want to play Holy Resilience. Yeah, if someone fights me, I want to play Glory to the Martyrs, which is the one that allows you to strike on death. What is else here? What was this one?
So I think I'll just quickly run through the main bits that I think was interesting. So the suspect and eliminate, again, getting punishing, I think actually isn't too bad of a benefit to against elite teams and that sort of
Is
stuff.
this the one that you can play for free if the one of the
That's
ladies?
Yes, this is the way that you can do it for free if you
Yeah,
take. You're now going to ask what
it's
her name
the
was.
Denuncia.
Yeah, Denuncia. You can do it for free if she's inspiring, which is
It's the I can't believe it's not a comms operative.
it's hey, here's a comms that's more complicated. It's like, oh yeah, you're right. That is a more complicated comms.
Yeah,
So
it's a comms, but you need to do 3 different things before it actually happens. Cool.
I like so again like the weird thing about this team is like if you're out activated, you can like do so many of these abilities on engage on a counteract to be able to like buff your team up.
But so many of them
like,
say that you cannot do them more than once per turning point, which
exactly.
kind of it's
So like
the leader has it, and
yeah.
where was the Denuncia?
I thought Denuncia, you can do it. So she can.
Denuncia, yeah, you can.
So she can go on engage and move it around. We'll get onto data cards in a bit, but
yeah,
like
we'll get there.
But like,
we'll get there. Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like
yeah,
as you
yeah.
say, I'm like, do I put these models on engage to do these things? But I want to be on like conceal to not get shot and well whatever. But suspect and eliminate, like it's kind of cool. You can do it on an objective marker, but that's probably against like one model. Like most of the time, most players aren't putting multiple models contesting objective markers unless it's towards the end of turning point 3 or 4 or something. So I think the majority of the time you're playing this against a single model and just being able to spread it. You probably aren't doing it on turning point 1 because no one really has any fights on turning point 1. But like I think against some teams this might be useful. But as you sort of said, like it just feels a little bit, I don't know, lackluster when it comes to time. Unless your opponent bunches up and suddenly you go, oh, you put your 50 mil Canoptech Geomancer in the middle of your entire team and now I can just give your entire team punishing. Oh, that's pretty cool. But like, I don't know how often that's going to happen. Like, so it feels...
Yeah, because some models just refuse to die in this game.
You need it.
Yeah. We all know that we're getting them nerfed after a few months' time, but it seems to me that at any given time there's some team that has something that's almost unkillable. So there's that. But yeah, I'm gonna break the review of and the deep dive into this team for just a moment, and you're gonna receive a tactical tip midway through. And the reason why Ryan mentioned that most of the times people only contest objectives with like one operative is because if they're good at this game, they will sacrifice the least amount of resource to do the needful and keep the rest strategically placed around the board. So if someone is putting excessive amount of bodies on the points, it's probably bad in the first place. So there's that. Here you go. There was a tactical tip, and I don't know what you have to do to Ryan to make it up for him for getting it midway through. But
you guys hit subscribe.
Yeah, I hope you enjoyed it.
You gotta hit subscribe. I'm just gonna take that and use it again anyway in a future MetaWatch video. So you're all welcome. You can dial in. They came for the stats and they stayed for the tip. All right, so the reroll defense dice terrible. Like I don't know, like it's okay, fine, whatever. But like I don't think it's
yeah, I mean, it's not supposed like again. If you're playing this game the way, at least I think you should. Again, necessary caveat: I may be wrong all the time, but I'm trying to play this game in a way that they don't shoot me too often, and if they get to shoot me just once, that means that I might have not played that ploy, and if I fail, I'm going to spend a command reroll to reroll it. So I'm going to pay the same price to have the same benefit, but with hindsight of seeing my dice in the first place. And if I get shot too many times, that means I'm playing this game wrong. So, yeah.
And again, the fact that you have to have an engage order means that it's already on someone that you're probably expecting to lose in a way. So, you're like they've gone in, they've killed someone.
Lose models, never.
They're wounded. they've done their mission, and now I'm going to go. I don't actually want to keep them alive, so I don't get the benediction somewhere else. You know what I mean? It doesn't really vibe with the team flow for me. Don't get me wrong, they are like 2-up and 3-up saves, which is cool, but like, I don't know. You've already talked about the Holy Resilience, so getting a team inspiring so that they're -1 damage is just really big for both normal and crit damage, right? So
I'm not looking at the camera because I'm actually looking at the ploys right now.
yeah,
yeah.
you gotta remind yourself. So yeah, like that is, I think, your go-to. I don't love the fact that you have to be wounded to be able to get balanced.
No, it's not. Let's not try to pretend that this game is about getting suffering drawback with a potential upside later on. Whenever you suffer any drawback, you accept the drawback as part of a great benefit that should come with it. And you want the benefit to be certain, the drawback to be uncertain, that something that maybe a potential cost that you have to pay, not the other way around. And we're going to get to the equipment, but for that reason, the auto flagellators are a no-go, in my opinion. Like, you should, like, there's my assessment only. Of course, again, I might be wrong, but I don't think you should be taking that equipment, like, ever. This is not the way to go. And if your game plan is revolving around getting your models wounded, losing them for unnecessarily just to gain the benediction or for martyrs, that's I would say that's wrong in the first place. Yes, it's cool to have that ability for the martyrdom thing and the benedictions, but the whole plan should be about you losing those models that have already done something. So, as you said, Ryan, you're fine with losing them because they have already done the job. The mission is complete for them. So there's that.
And so, like, we might as well just touch on it now because I think you're absolutely right on the fact it's a trap. So the auto flagellator, is the one where you're taking potentially damage. Well, actually, no, you always take damage.
You're always taking damage. You're potentially getting excited, inspiring. So
it should definitely be the other way around, right? Like I cannot believe this equipment is, or it should max out at 1 damage or something. Like it.
I would accept it if it was like take 1 damage, get inspiring.
Yeah, and like
then they'll be like, there will be a very good equipment. Or even get inspiring. Then roll d6. You take 1 damage
on a 4-up.
Unless you roll a 6, then you take 2 damage or something. Like it was like you take more damage, but there's a chance you're not gonna take any damage at all. But the certainty of taking damage, so the drawback is certain, but the benefit is not. I'm sorry, that's not the way to play this game.
And not just that, but it can be so much damage. Like you roll a 6 and take 3 damage. Like you're a 9 wound team, most of you guys, and now your breakpoints are screwed. And so like
yeah, that's the other thing. Like, this team is going to heavily rely on the fact that they are out of reach for so many operatives because of the breakpoint. And just in case your opponent can't kill you, you can always use the auto flagellator to give them a chance. So it's like, oh yeah, here you go, opponent. Here's my operative that's now wounded because I wanted to get the inspiring token, and all of a sudden, oh, I rolled a 3, so yes, I am inspiring. Yes, I will benefit from that holy resilience, so -1 damage in melee. But as of now, I'm a 6 wound operative, so your 4/4 weapon or whatnot just kills me. So it's like, no, it doesn't make any sense.
And yeah, so I think that is.
All those 5/7 weapons just one shot you with a crit. Perfect. I'm sorry, not the way to go. We can stop dwelling on that because that's another. I think it's a design mistake. It's just an equipment that might as well not exist there, but at least in my view.
You can see the logic, right? You can see the logic of, you want to be able to get this to get balanced, and therefore you need a way to be able to hurt yourself, but the penalty is too great, essentially. Also, I think you're going to be able to get inspiring pretty easily, taking potentially 3 damage and going down 6 wounds on a 4 up to get inspiring is not worth it. So I think on the strat ploys, suffering in silence is people going to look at that and go, oh, that's how I get my rerolls.
Which one is it?
That's the you get balance if you're wounded. They think that's how you're going to get your rerolls. I think that's the trap. You want to use
that's the trap.
If you need rerolls, you want to use Wrath. You want to get them via your Martyrdom abilities, in my opinion. Firefight ploys. So they have some, I think, interesting ones here. I think there's always going to be like one is your like gotcha ploy in my opinion, which is the unshakable pursuit, which gives you an extra inch of movement, because a lot of people are not necessarily going to think about where you can and can't get. Combining the ability to just go an extra inch on a charge or move is going to be able to get you into combat. People wouldn't.
Well, as we all know, an extra inch can go a long way. So it makes all the difference. And if you combine it with extra 3 inches that you may get with that dash, and all of a sudden, for some people, it's almost double the size. So, what I wanted to say is that getting from your regular 8-inch charge, right? Because 6 + 2, that's your regular 8-inch charge. You add an inch for the unshakable pursuit, and then you add 3 inches for your benediction dash. So altogether, that goes up to 12 inches movement and 1 inch engagement range, which we discussed earlier on. So that's a huge thing. So that's your gotcha. I agree with that. Glory to the Martyrs is, however, the one I like most. I think. Like playing salvages, I absolutely love the fact that my dozer can hit on his way out, and now being in a position to say, well, this team that is more melee than shooty has that option on every single operative. That is quite cool.
And they've got good, generically good melee weapons. So if you're going into melee with them, you're very, very unlikely to be able to one-hit them unless you've got some great stacking abilities to be able to do so, or your opponent conveniently flagellated themselves to the point in which you could one-hit them. I don't recommend doing that. So you're not going to one-hit them, so you're always going to be trading damage. And then, again, if you're trading 8 damage on the way out or so, or 10 damage on the way out, that's a lot of damage to be taken against someone that most teams aren't going to be able to deal with, right? So, if you're an elite player and you're just going in and thinking, oh, I'm just going to go kill this nun in melee, you're probably not, to start with, unless it goes well. And then if you do, you're taking a lot of damage to be able to achieve it. So you've really got to be able to stack those benefits to be able to reach the breakpoints that you want, and then be ready for pain as a result. So I think those two are your, in my opinion, really good go-to firefight ploys, and where a lot of your CP is probably going to get spent. The Fervor and Hate. So I find these ploys. I mean, to be fair, Fervor and Hate is better than the Deathwatch one, because it has the option.
Oh no!
It shouldn't exist. It's not allowed. But I always find these ploys really difficult, because if you find yourself playing against Deathwatch, you're like, this ploy literally does nothing for me, and therefore I've only now got 3 firefight ploys. But if you find yourself playing against a Chaos team, you're like, oh, this is amazing. This is one of the best ploys that I have, because I've got Pocket Relentless whenever I need it, sort of thing, for 1 CP. So the scaling of this is nuts, right? So sometimes absolutely bonkers level good. Sometimes you're running a game with 3 ploys or an extra CP reroll, maybe as a way to look at it. But having access to Ceaseless against non-Imperium teams is good, I think. So most of the time you got Pocket Ceaseless, which is good.
I guess. And if we look at this current metagame, the good Imperium teams, or the playable Imperium teams, you've got some Space Marines, you've got Ratlings if you think about it, but you don't really need those rerolls into Ratlings because they're gonna die unless you're talking about Ogrins. But you can probably kill them somehow as well. Um, so yeah, of course it would be great to have like lots of rerolls. That's why we enjoyed novitiates in the first place. But yeah, the days of your opponent complaining about, oh yeah, you keep rolling all hits, like yeah, because I roll triple the amount of dice that you do. Um, these days are gone, but instead we get a team that is rather durable in melee. That shield maiden with 11 wounds and willingly jumping in front of other sisters is absolutely bonkers strong. Yeah, you look at that model, it's like she's like the female version of Aegis. So
She really is
she,
actually.
yeah, she really is. So um, yeah, I think we're good on some fronts, a bit worse on other fronts. It's a overall like acceptable.
And the last one that I want to just touch on is the Faith and Fury, which is if you strike an enemy operative with a critical success, which you're again probably going to have because you've got severe on inspiring operatives, so you're probably going to be able to have that. After resolving that strike, you get to do the D3 damage on each other enemy operative visible to and within 2 inches of that friendly operative in an order of your choice.
So I really dislike the fact it's like each other
That's yeah.
operative, but because it's like within 2 inches, when you're playing into teams that are of a higher model count, some hordes, for instance, you may find yourself in a situation where you charge one dude because they're trying to spread the models apart, not to get double charge or something. But then you end up in within 2 inches of two other guys, and then maybe it will be beneficial to use it because let's say you've got free APL, and then you may be able to flame the one of those that you actually dealt D3 damage to in the first place. So yeah, maybe, but it's like it's not one of those ploys that you say, oh yeah, this is one of those best ploys in the game, like the Murderwing one. Somehow they have multiple of these, but yeah, but uh,
They do. It's
yeah, I
like
would. So uh, Ryan, the thing is, if you ask me, but would you like to trade all of your firefight ploys for access to, and maybe would you like to trade all of your firefight ploys and all of your strategic gambits, so everything, all eight of them, and instead you're getting access to the one that says you always go last, and the one that says it's if someone uh, um, moves next to you, you get to charge them, or the one that says if someone charges you, you get to get out of combat during the activation. I would take that. Just give me the one that always allows me to go last, and give me one of the other two, and I'm happy. And I can forget about all the eight ploys that I got with this team.
yeah.
So there's that. But let's not make it into a Meadowing deep dive.
But I think your use case is really good, right? For when you want to use Faith and Fury, and for me, it's that like the cremator, you go in and you're killing someone, and you've got the potential to then torrent two other people, whatever. And there's 7 wound operatives or 8 wound operatives, and you therefore know that you need to resolve 3 hits with the flamer. You're probably not going to do it, but if you deal D3 damage and you bring that breakpoint down, then you may be getting a double kill or a triple kill, whatever. I think that's the use case for this. It just feels so niche, and it's frustrating because as you said, like if it was D3 damage on that enemy operative and everyone else around you, then you're like, oh, this is actually really good because now I can go in and take on someone with a breakpoint that is significantly higher, or get around someone's damage reduction or whatever. So now it becomes like a double kill tool. It's like how I read it, which I don't know if it's like supposed to be like that or what, but that's kind of how it feels to me. So more niche, very frustrating that it doesn't work against the original target. But use case is there, right? Like if you want to affect someone's breakpoint for a subsequent fight or charge, that's the use. Or shoot. and with a bunch of
It would be
3/3
cool if it
foes.
worked against the original target, or if it worked every single time you strike in that action.
Yeah, if you could do it like with every
That would
creature
be like,
resolve.
wow, that would be strong. But
Yeah.
yeah, like, we will give some ideas around how to buff this team as and when they prove to be on, like, 30% win rate. But
We'll see if they need
as
it.
of now,
See if
it's,
they need it.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
I mean, I will.
so that is all the strat ploys and the firefight ploys. So again, the general vibe is not that CP hungry. They do have some cool abilities that you can use, but like it's going to be again a bit situational. You got to think it through. You got to have a game plan for it. It's not just like every turn you just spam this and that's going to be the answer, unless you're against any melee team where Holy Resilience is the answer basically for damage reduction. Anything else you want to touch on ploys before we go into equipment? Because I think, as you said it like earlier,
No,
really
I guess
cool.
like people read and saw the videos, so we can move on. We know, like, overall this team is not a team that relies heavily on the ploys. Most of them are situational, and it's not like if you're facing a team that says, "Oh, I've got absolute authority," then all of a sudden you're like, "Oh, that means that my team is not working anymore," because this team is not as dependent on the ploys in the first place. You may actually be content with not playing certain ploys, or with having access to fewer command points, because and to just keep taking initiative, um, because you want to get into the action, and you're like, I don't need the ploys, because my strength is not coming from my ploys in the first place.
Yeah. Um, there is though some really good faction equipment. I say some. There is some really good faction equipment. We've already talked about the auto flagellator. Like, unless you just enjoy not winning games, I don't think it's. Well, maybe we're wrong, right? Like, but I think that we've talked that one to death. So we'll park that one. There's three more bits to go. So there's I'll just quickly highlight what they are. So you have the psych out grenades, which are basically stun grenades that can do some extra damage. We have the saintly relics, which is the once per action. Sorry, that's not true. Whenever an attack dice would inflicts damage, you roll 2d6. If one of them is a 6, you can ignore the damage if it's inspiring. And then you can do that once
Otherwise,
per
you're rolling
action.
1d6.
Otherwise, you're on 1d6. So, I mean, which is impactful, but again, I think a lot of your operatives are going to be inspiring, like particularly when you're using this in melee and you're fighting and that sort of stuff. And then finally is the Vocifera Mortis, which is the we talked about previously, being able to do the Martyrdom benefit anywhere in the battlefield, not just within 6 inches and visible. So, should we talk firstly about saintly relics, because I think it like that is something that is so critical to this team, and I like it when you first read it. Everyone's going to go, "That's useless," right? And then when you play it, because I have played against this, you go, "This happens whenever you need it all the time." It's like it feels so consistent, and it shouldn't be that consistent, and it blows your mind if you're trying to do the maths of trying to fight someone with this, right? Because you're like 30% of the time when I go to try and kill this girl, she ain't gonna die, and she
No,
is.
it's actually not 30%, because
It seems
it's
great, yeah,
thirty
anyway.
percent on each strike.
Yeah,
So if you, at the very least, you need to strike her twice. There are some operatives that you need to strike 3 times. So the one with the shield that has 11 wounds, if you need to strike her 3 times to kill her, not even mentioning the fact that she can parry twice in the process. So before
you're
you
not gonna get
even
to hit her
get to
three
that,
times.
like, you're not going to get there in the first place. But even if you were to get there, you need to strike her 3 times, and then every single time you strike her, provided she's inspiring, she will roll 2d6 and fish for a 6 to negate that. And if any of those rolls is actually a 6, then you're not killing her. So yeah, good luck. I mean, we may have not received the best ploys, we may have received one piece of equipment that might as well not exist, but Saintly Relics is Chef's Kiss. Like, this equipment is what makes the team. And I'm gonna risk stating that without this equipment, we could easily immediately drop them by one whole tier on any tier list. But because this is what makes them so durable and so unpredictable to your opponent. Yes, it will not always go off, but your opponent, in a way, has to play around the fact that it may go off. It's like playing against that ninth thing from Mandrakes with Oubliex.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, so
Is-
yes, it only goes off if you roll what you need to roll, but then it's like if it does, then I'm screwed, my plan won't work. So you kind of have to play around the fact that it will go off. And same rule applies, same principle applies here on your entire team, but only when you want it to apply, because we need to keep in mind that you can only use it up to once per action and twice per battle.
Yeah.
Which some people will say, oh, this makes this equipment unusable. No, no, no. There's a very necessary limitation. Without that, this team would be toxic. Like,
It is
literally toxic.
It is a better just a scratch because you can work against crits.
Uncounterable. You cannot counter it.
You can't absolute authority say no.
Yeah.
You
don't have to spend command points.
Yeah, spending command points.
It's like,
and like if you need to fight twice, like good luck, because it can happen both times. I think like the way that this is going to catch people off. So again, say for stats wise, it's like a 30% chance if you're inspired. It's like a 16% chance if you're not inspired.
Per dice.
Yeah, it's a single dice. You can roll for 6, right? But like,
no, I mean,
is it like per dice in the melee? Yeah. So each time you strike, right?
Yeah.
And so, like, I think this way this catches people off is like when you're going in and your plan is I'm going to one hit this wounded sister, or I'm going to 2-hit kill them, whatever. And you roll your dice and you get 3 hits, and you go, oh sweet, I'm going to do this. You go to hit, they get just a scratch off, and then they parry your 2 remaining hits, and then the sister goes, oh, I've now got a bunch of crits left, whatever.
Yeah, it's like we all know how powerful ploys like Just a Scratch are. Like, for a very long time, it was like considered as the best ploy in the game because it destroys the mathematics of any combat that you want to engage in for as long as it's up, for as long as your opponent hasn't used it, for as long as they have a command point to spend. Here, you don't have to spend any command points. And for as long as you haven't actually benefited from that twice, it's up there. So you have to consider that. So it's like almost in the same bucket as like, oh, I'm going to fight you twice whenever I want. Fight you first whenever I want to, because as you said, like there's a wounded sister, so I'm going to just charge and kill her. But guess what? She rolled that 6, and all of a sudden it almost works as if she struck you first and stunned your hit because why not? So it's a very powerful equipment, probably the strongest part of this whole set, of equipment, and one of the strongest rules for the entire team.
Yeah, I think like the skill level of this team, like part of it is going to be knowing when to roll those dice and when not to, because I think if you waste it early on,
you don't want to use it on something unnecessary. So
because like it is when you're playing against it, the relief when it is gone. Like again, like
yeah.
Like oh okay,
like,
I don't have to worry about this anymore. is massive, right? Like, and I cannot describe that to people. Like when I first read it, I was like, that's rubbish equipment, and then you put it on the table and you go, oh my god, it's like oh, and as soon as it's gone, you're like, okay, I don't have to worry about that bullshit anymore. There's no more double just a scratch.
In a way, like we may cry and begrudge GW for taking away the faith dice, but we got some form of miracle dice, and this is it. This is
your miracle.
These are your miracle dice. We don't get too many rerolls. We don't get to fix the dice, but this is like a new version of miracle dice, and that's like, oh yeah, sorry, but this is not going to work this time. And for as long as it's up there and available to your opponent, you're going to have a tough time trying to kill them in melee, because if they're inspiring, they get -1 damage on both crits and normals, and they can use this feint for crits and normals as well. So it's not a good option to get into melee with them. But then, okay, so I'm just gonna shoot them, and imagine that you have your 4/6 piercing 1 weapon, right? And then you get a crit and 3 hits, and they roll 2 3s. And then there's like, okay, so they can go either taking away 2 normals and rolling for the equipment twice. And if they succeed once, they're fine. Or they can take away your crit and roll for the equipment 3 times. And if they succeed once, they're again fine, because they've got 9 wounds. It's not that easy to kill them, even with weapons that you can say, oh yeah, I'm gonna have like a crit and 3 hits, and I've got 4/6 piercing 1. No, it's not that easy to kill a nun in space. So yeah, very powerful equipment. I guess we could keep talking about use cases, but don't let yourself getting blindsided by the limitation to 2 uses or once per action. It's one of the strongest things that this team has.
And I think the only my final point is, I think in melee it's more impactful than shooting, unless like that model that you really don't want them to die, because in melee it's probably going to mean that you kill your opponent's model when they don't expect it.
Oh yeah, it's like, yeah,
so
there's that as well.
So that's where I would bias my use for it. The Vocifera Mortis, which is the ability to move the Martyrdom onto other models once per battle. That's not visible within 6. I don't think there's too much to talk about this, other than it's really useful. We talked about the crazy charge ranges you can potentially get. We talked about the APL buff on a model people aren't expecting. I think that's generically just a very useful piece of equipment to have in your back pocket. I don't know if you've got any secret sauce.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, no, I would say so. I think in most cases you're gonna go with the Vocifera Mortis and the Miracle Dice one as your mass takes, and then you've got 2 remaining slots that you can flex around. Potential psych out grenades, but at least I personally I don't rate stun grenades that highly, unless you've got a specific use case or no drawback to throwing stun grenades, because many teams do not actually, or many players do not actually consider that stun grenades have an inherent drawback built into them, because in many cases you throw the stun grenade, you have to be within 6. That means that your model is exposed, and if it doesn't work, that model is might as well be dead. So that's the drawback of the stun grenade. I think it's too early, because obviously I haven't played with the team yet, so it's too early for me to say whether this team has that ability to just throw the psycho grenade as like an extra that they do anyway, in which case they would be useful. Other than that, again, I like crack grenades. This team might have access to punishing crack grenades with that strategic ploy. And we need to consider that I think it was like 2 or 3 of the girls do not have any shooting weapon. So giving them crack grenades is actually a good thing.
Yeah.
And that leaves you with 1 for like ladders or barricades or whatnot.
Yeah, and I think crack grenades are definitely your friend. When you have operatives that don't have any range weapons on the data card, that you want to make 3 APL quite often, or can make 3 APL quite easily, then it kind of feels like, well, they need something, right? Like, and having that option for double kill, I think is really impactful. The only use case that I had for the psych out grenades was if you feel like you want to be hiding in melee against a certain team, being able to have those stun options is quite useful. Noting that you're going to be 3 APL and you can't double fight, and a lot of your shooting weapons might be bad. But again, this is in a world in which you're saying, do you want to take crack grenades or psych-out grenades? You probably take the crack grenades to give you that shooting option. But if you don't need any terrain on the map and you think, yeah, I'm just going to go in, the psych-out grenades give you that option, right? To be able to throw it, do some APL debuffs, maybe some chip damage. That's not really why you're doing it, though, to be honest. You're doing it to
I guess now that you said that, I can see a world in which you would want to combine the psych out grenades into lower wound count mod operatives, like 7, maybe 8 wounds, probably like 7, like something like Brood Brothers Inquisition.
Yeah.
You would combine the psych out grenades with frag grenades and potential use of that B3 to everyone within to if I strike you with a crit. Because then if you combine all of that, or it may be enough, or if you let's say the psych out grenade followed by a frag grenade on Tomb World or Into the Dark, then between the psych out grenade and the frag grenade, a 7-1 model may be dead. Maybe.
Yeah. It gives you quite like an easy 2 damage, like sort of guaranteed, or most of the time 2 damage. Again, though, like, and it is like a struggle with stun grenades. Whenever you have that risk of it just didn't work, like you just roll that 1 or the 2, and you go, okay, well, this is it now, isn't it?
Yeah, that's why I don't like them in the first place. But the potential upside is that this is a stun grenade that may deal some chip damage, as you put it. So in a way, if we have 3 APO on a model and we can't shoot twice, but what we can do is we can move and then throw a psych out grenade, then throw a frag grenade, then maybe in certain cases it will be enough to kill the opponent.
Yeah, I think it's an option, right? It's one to look at.
Yeah.
Maybe it's generic on any map which forces people to bunch up. Then you've got a chance to make it interesting. I said I like it for being able to tar pit people. With a lot of your models being 3 APL, if you throw it into a group of people, yeah, sure, one of them doesn't get stunned, but one of them does get stunned. Well, you charge both, and then you kill the guy that's not been stunned, and then that other model is now looking at a sister with damage reduction and a horrible melee profile and thinking, do I actually want to try and fight that? Probably not, right? And they can't run away from it, so that becomes really interesting. Other universal equipment bits, you've already covered the crack grenades. I think is a pretty solid pick. Noting a lot of you guys don't have those range weapons, and the rest of it, like I don't think there's any secret sauce with any particular equipment that like I'm thinking is really worth it. I mean, 2-up saves on the portable barricade, sure, it's nice. But your guys are pretty durable from ranged attacks anyway. So I think maybe just taking barricades, ladders as you need, that kind of thing.
Yeah, maybe you can take the ammo cache every now and then, because extra reroll on a melta pistol may be of some use. But other than that, I think most cases you will want some ladders on Volkers. You would want some barricades on Tomb World or ITD. So in a way, that equipment use is going to be there. It's almost okay not to have 4 absolutely matic equipment options, because then you're left with no option to take the barricades or ladders when you need to, and you have to sacrifice a good part of your team to take something that's absolutely necessary because the board you're playing on demands you to. So I'm happy having 2 strong equipments, one maybe and one that might as well not be there.
Yeah. And obviously, in the new Murder Wing meta, you need ladders because you need to be able to reach them. They're all hiding advantage, right? So, well, again,
I guess
I'm not going to get to Murder Wing.
I'm going to sit on the objective, Marcus, and I guess they're free to come to me, and
we'll fight them
if
here.
they don't come to me, it's okay.
Sweet. So we'll go into.
Having said that, I expect to die in that matchup.
Yeah.
At least at first glance, it's just like, too much chip damage. But maybe I'm wrong. Like I need to get some games in with that team.
My experience was, I had enough chip damage to be able to go in and kill people, pretty effectively, and so they're just a bit too killy, and
You're supposed to play the Loyalist Marines.
Yeah, I know, right? Well, I'm making them loyalist. That's my kit.
Breaking news: Ryan Slater is a meta chaser.
I've been good this year so far. Anyway,
So this
so
year,
far,
so far, any more caveats?
and it's
Like-
and it's January. All right, so operative selection then. So you were talking about the metal pistol. I think it is just worth chatting through the superior. So again, people seen the rules. 3 APL, got that extra wounds, a 10 wounds base, 3 up save. This is one of your models that's handing out your inspiring benefit every turning point, right? So you kind of want to keep her safe early on so that she can be doing that, right? But you also want to get some value out of her. So I think the majority of people are going to go with Inferno Pistol because it's a big, nasty shooting weapon. But actually, I do wonder, like with the 3-inch range and the fact that you can't shoot on silent, like you have to be putting her into an exposed position to be able to get that value. And the fact that her the stake thrower is Dev 2 and Lethal 5 means it's a little bit more interesting. So I like the fact that you can kind of run her in the backfield on silent, putting damage out and making people inspired. But at some point she needs to do something. You're still a 9 operative team. She is one of your more killing models. So I think it's a real challenge to know when you want to commit her, and do you want to play her as a defensive player with this long range silent attacks, or do you want to just yeet her in and try and get some damage off?
So a few comments from my end around that model, and again, I'm looking at the profile here. First of all, having 3 AP on her is balancing the short range of the melter pistol a bit, so that's a good thing. And if you keep her in the back, but use that trick with, oh, I'm gonna put someone on the middle objective exposed. If you kill them, she's just gonna dash towards them and then move, dash, and kill you. So that melter can effectively have quite a decent range. So there's that. What is the other thing that we have to remember is that you may hand out the inspiring to someone turning point 1. We're going to get to the actual chain of backflips that you need to perform to get the best out of that in a second, but you may hand out someone the inspiring token, and then your denuncier can take that token away and give the benediction to someone else. So in a way, you could stack it with the inbuilt ability of your leader. And if you go through the whole chain of these backflips and the action that you need to take, you can end up with your leader having ceaseless 10.1 being inspiring, and thanks to that having access to a free command reroll. So if you have a ceaseless plus potential balance from the command reroll, that's the baseline. It can get better if you're into chaos or non-imperium, but you've got ceaseless plus balance that's almost like relentless. And then your crossbow, for instance, is this is the only good crossbow in the team, by the way. It's lethal 5 up, the only acceptable crossbow. This may actually deal enough damage. Like, I think anything that's not a marine can potentially be worried about this model when it comes, even if it has the crossbow. So there's that. The fact that she has that holy example, you probably want her to have one of those inspiring tokens. Keep in mind that you can always, even turning point 2, can always just say, okay, I'm gonna give myself the token, then move 6 and then shoot you, for instance. So you can do that. And then because you're inspiring, you've got severe, and then you've got potential command reroll for 0 CP. So that's quite good. Of course, it's not great that she can't counteract to give someone inspiring. Yeah, I think overall she's still a very solid operative. And yeah, one notable thing is that so many of these abilities work on support 6 inches. So I guess some players may say, "Oh, this is exactly a team where you take the comms
Regular cod,
radio,
yeah, yeah.
where you will extend it by 3 inches." I wouldn't say so. I think it's gonna be a challenge. So in a way, you're going to have to learn how to position those operatives correctly, but you have to imagine all of them being tied by their shoelaces with their colleagues when moving across the board, and keep that like matrix of models sitting within 6 inches of each other.
The
So
fake
there's that.
matrix. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, like so, and just a few points on that is like you gotta have to remember your benefits from martyrdom come from being within 6 inches of people, right? So like you can have this and be like, oh, I'm giving something 9 inches away, but now that model doesn't have to do it unless you use your once per game equipment. But like you don't want to do that just on your basic game
Immediately,
plan.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
it's like that shouldn't be like everyone wants to be 6 inches, and then you use it when you need it to throw someone
As and
out.
when you need to, yeah. So sometimes I guess the one of the better uses for that equipment is that you lose someone in the middle of the board, and then you take the operative that is on the very flank, the other end of the
Yeah,
table, and that model performs a dash, but because of how angles work, it performs a dash towards the enemy and is just slightly closer to the one that died. And thanks to that, you meet the requirement of the dash, and lo and behold, now you're in range of that enemy. So this is how you want to use it. Other than that, just imagine they have very long shoelaces, and they're tied by those shoelaces with all the other lasses on the team.
yeah. And so just for people's tracking, like the threat range on the fusion pistol is a dash out of activation, followed by a move dash, which is 9, but you can increase your movement to 7 with a ploy, which is 10, which gives you essentially a
I think
13-inch move
the
dash.
move increase.
Um,
Uh,
it's just
oh, so it
it's
works only on movement. You don't have to charge to get extra inch on
you just add one to it.
unshakable pursuit.
You just add one to its move stat.
So if you're expiring, yeah, but you have to be inspiring,
Yeah,
or
I
you have to
mean,
charge to get inspiring. Yeah,
I'm
yeah. So she will
assuming
be
you're
inspiring. Yeah,
inspiring
yeah, yeah, yeah.
already,
So
right?
yeah, so
So,
it's out
um,
of activation 3 plus move dash 9 plus 1 inch plus shoot within
to
2, or just regular
in
range
three,
3
yeah. So it's like a
with potentially
16.
ceaseless balanced melter.
Yeah, so it's like a 16-inch threat range, which I like. It's a 3-inch range gun, but when you say like the guy that's 16 inches away is going to get it in a second, if people are going to be confused, but it is
Yeah, people
possible,
will be
right?
confused. But
Um,
then there's one more caveat, and I guess this is a very important thing. We keep saying, "Oh, it's a 16-inch range melter pistol," blah blah blah. What we have to remember is that imagine you have 4 hits, right, out of that, and one of them is a critical, either because you rolled it or because you're severe, right? And you're piercing 2.
yeah,
The opposing marine is surviving that shot
yeah,
because it's a 4-2 death free melter,
and they're
and you
probably
can
going to
only
make
shoot
it
it once.
piercing 1 because they've got the ability to reduce
Yeah,
piercing.
so we have to keep it in mind that yeah, it's a cool pistol,
Yeah,
the only pistol that's not airsoft gun but on the team, but it's still something that if you're taking that with a desire to one shot Marines, that's not gonna happen. Um, and we just need to keep that in mind. Like in a way, you need to think about Marines as operatives that need to take some damage first before you actually finish them off with that pistol, or you just politely decline to engage with them because you definitely don't want to spend all of those shenanigans to move 60 whatever, like 14 inches or however many that is, and then shoot them and then be like, okay, cool, so you're left at 1 wound or 2 wounds depending on the marine, and then you kill me, and yeah, cool.
and I guess like the sad thing about this team is It's like, oh, that's really cool. Like you managed to get this melt shot off that no one was expecting. It's like, and all it cost you was one of your models had to die first to be able to then do this. Like, you know what I mean? It's like that is always as a caveat goes. That is a big caveat, but it's interesting. I mean, personally, I think for my play style, knowing how I would want to use her if I was to play this team, well, I'm probably not going to play this team, but if I were to play this team, I think I'd keep her on the silent long range weapon. I think you need some credible long range threat on this team, and I think she is the only one that can really provide it to you. And she'll probably kill an 8 wound model because she'll get like 2 crits, which is 4 dev wounds straight away, and then with like 2 crits, 2 hits or something, with ceaseless piercing 1, she's probably going to do an extra 4 damage and probably kill an 8 wound model. So like she does 8 damage quite effectively is what I'm saying with that pistol, with the stake thrower. Sorry, the fusion pistol, the Inferno pistol will get you a kill against a tougher target, but again, like
is it team or Melta?
Yeah, and it's
or Melta from Wish.
Yeah,
like, we've got Melta at home. Melta at home is not as strong, unfortunately.
It's half the range and less damage.
Just need to, we just need to be mindful of that.
I don't understand.
I'm surprised it hasn't got hot built into it, because that would be very thematic. But
it doesn't So a plasma gun, right, goes from, and we're just vibing now, but like goes from 5.6 down to 4.5 because it's a pistol version. I'm like, cool, that makes sense. And then you have like the melter gun, which is like essentially 6.7, goes down to not 5.6, actually goes all the way down to 4.5.
4.5
because fuck you, I guess. I don't know. Anyway. It's there's some stuff there,
but it's a rolling theme when it comes to the teams that I like to play, because the melter gun, the railgun from Salvages is also 4-2 dev 3. So it's like, when I saw that, I'm gonna have Assisted Superior with a melter gun, I was like, yes, I'm gonna have an actual melter, and then I read the rules yesterday. I was like, oh,
you were that close. You were so close.
Well, yeah, I might actually test the crossbow into elites, because it's the only long range gun that makes sense, and it's silent, so why not?
And that's kind of it. Like it just gives you this option, and she's going to be moving, shooting, and handing out an inspiring buff most of the time. So like I think that's how I would play her. I'm not saying that is the way to play her. I'm just saying that.
We need to remember that she also gets the relic bolt pistol, which is 3/5 lethal 5 up.
Yes.
So if you were to have a ceaseless, balanced, or relentless lethal 5 up weapon, you may consistently be rolling like 2 or 3 crits, and with 5 damage, that might be good enough. Like we all know, the power of crits is sometimes greater than power of piercing. So. There you go.
I mean, I have been one-tapped by a relic bolt pistol off one of the Tempestus Aquilin dude. He just rolled 3 crits and I didn't make a single save, and I was like, oh my god, I've just lost my watch sergeant to a bolt pistol.
Well, all I can tell you is I once killed. We know our friend Paolo from the London community.
Yeah.
And I once one-shot his Space Marine with the previous iteration of Novitiate's crossbow, because I rolled so many natural crits and fixed the last ones. I guess you're dead. But it's not going to happen anymore, because now we have silenced water pistols.
Let's push on, because.
Of course.
Someone who doesn't have a water pistol is the Abjura, which is the big shield lady, right? So 2-up save, 11 wounds, 2 different methods of fighting. Either the double parry, which is pretty nice, particularly double parry when you have severe built in is really nice, and then or the lethal 5 option, which again, if you're not inspiring, I think having lethal 5 is good, but if you are inspiring, double parry most of the time feels like it's gonna be better. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but it just feels like if you go into someone and they roll poorly and you just get rid of 2 of their hits straight away, you probably have enough leftover damage to kill against most operatives. But
Yeah, and I guess in order for us not to spend like half an hour discussing every single operative, um, the gimmick of this one is that yes, you can jump in front of other sisters to save them, and we all know that we discussed it already that she's pretty tough nut to crack. Like when it comes, like she's got 11 wounds. If she's inspiring, she's got damage reduction, and the miracle dice option, and she parries twice. So it's highly likely you're not killing her in one combat, no matter what is your melee profile. And then what we have to remember is that when she jumps in front of someone else to defend them and fight for them, that original target is still within engagement range of the enemy, which means that she's going to benefit from supporting attacks. So in such cases, she's going to hit on twos. So that's great. That's another strong side of this theme, and a very powerful operative. This is the Aegis in female version.
and it's like it is so strong being able to like either take a shot that you don't want to take onto a 2-up save 11 wound operative, or as you say, just be like, I'm now hitting on twos. I've got severe baked in, and I'm just going to absolutely wail on you with you know,
Yeah.
with my weapon. Like that is crazy. So I think you nailed the use case there. Like for her, she is like a roadblock that is really hard to deal with, and if she's within 2 inches of someone else, you have to deal with her versus the weaker model that you might want to try and deal with. I do think there is some interesting combos again. So with the sensor is another combo that I quite like, because the sensor is the one that's
The injury, the super injury aura, because it's not actual injury, it's super injury.
correct. Yeah.
Yeah. So super injury is obviously when we refer to something that goes around the rules that say can be injured or something. So
And because
there you go.
well, what I was gonna say is like she is probably someone that wants to sit on an objective and just hold an objective, and then you can have this Abjura within 2 inches, and you can say, "Hey, I can go fight the icon bearer on the objective. I'm now injured, and I'm actually fighting the Abjura, and I'm actually got damage reduction, and they've still got the Justice Scratch up and all that sort of stuff." And you just go, "Oh my god!" Like they're now getting +1 to hit. They're now getting all these extra benefits. And you're injured, and I just feel like that combo is really good. Like to be able to properly lock down an objective is quite nice.
All I'm gonna say is that I hate the model for the sensor. I think it's the worst sculpt of all of them. Mine is kit bash, so it's gonna have the sensor, but it's gonna look in a like
Look good.
a different way. It's gonna look much better. Yeah, but this sculpt is absolutely abysmal when it comes to how poor and bad space nuns can look. But notwithstanding that little shortcoming, she's got a very strong ability. That injury aura is cool. The fact that she also carries an icon, that's also cool. I wish I knew that when I started kit bashing those models back in November, because then she would definitely get a bigger icon. But yeah, there you go.
Yep.
I'm not a huge fan of healing on force,
No, it's not great.
but and not having even the water pistol, but yeah, I guess you can't have it all. So you're gonna have some operatives that will just have to throw a crack every now and then.
It's
There you go.
another reason why I think she's like a good pairing for the Abjura, because she only hits on fours. Like if someone charges her, there's a good chance that you just whiff, and then your icon lady's taken out. So I think it's really useful to have the Abjura there to be able to say, no, you're not going to fight the person that hits on fours. You're fighting the person that hits on twos with severe and double parry. Like you're fighting her instead, actually.
Yeah.
And then if you do kill her, then you can fight the guy that hits on fours with 5/5 brutal.
And by the way, you're injured no matter what your rules say in the process. So one of the cool use cases is that if you have the fortress, the stronghold from Volkus, and you put your Abjura behind the door, so she's gonna fight you first. So that's cool. Or you may actually put someone like the leader with that melter pistol behind the door, and you say, oh, cool, I'm just going to charge into that leader because she's got a 4/4 weapon, so she's not going to kill me. And guess what? 2 inches behind her, there's the abjurer. So your leader is not only in a position to launch a strike with a melter pistol, the wish melter pistol, but also protected by the abjurer. So that's actually quite cool. And yeah, the 4-up to hit is misprint, let's call it that way. But yeah, we'll live with that. There's quite a few of such misprints in this team, but
Definitely misprint. Yeah.
personally, I prefer them not to be too strong because I'm hoping all the meta chasers, like Seth and Ryan's, will just jump on Murderwing and
Take the easy
leave my
option.
precious nuns alone.
Take the easy flying marines. The only other thing I was just going to mention on her is the -2 from movement is cute, but it's not going to come out that much because you only do that at the end of an action. So once they've charged you or once they've moved into your range, they're now -2 to move. Sure, like if they need to, they're going to dash first and then move into your range to get the full movement. Like very few people, or they're going to move into your range and then dash. Like it's not going to come out that often where you go, oh, I've actually managed to make it so that someone's moving.
No, it's above the -1 to hit.
Yeah, it's fully that.
Yeah.
Maybe if someone falls back, you've got a chance. I don't know. Cremators. So the only thing that I wanted to touch on with these is I think they're sort of competing with the warriors, for what they do. But I think the fact that these guys can help you hand out more inspiring is why like they're really good.
By the way, it's so thematic. Like you should say, "Oh, it's on fire and didn't die. That's cool. Let's get excited about it." It's like it's literally what Warhammer 40k is about. But I actually think that by default, I want to play Cremators every time.
Yeah.
One of the reasons, as you put it, the extra chance to get inspiring. Another reason is that they do have a Seek Light option, which can come in handy, and Torrent, and this is, if I recall, the only chance for this team to get Torrent or Blast-like ability. So there's that.
Yeah.
And then, on top of all of that, this team hasn't got too many innate rerolls, so hitting on 2s is actually quite important. Even if you're up against a Marine, those Marines, as we said earlier, they do not die right off the bat from any of your sisters. So you need to deal some chip damage first. So stuff like a Flamer that can flame, deal like 3 or 6 damage may be enough to actually justify a charge later. Or leader shooting into that model or whatever else. So there's that.
Yeah. And it is like one of those things where you do 3 damage to a Marine, you put them down to 11 wounds, or a Deathwatch Marine down to say 12 wounds, and now suddenly your 4/4 weapons in melee becomes a potential to kill, or your 4/6 lethal power weapons have an option to kill. So the chip damage is definitely valid. The access to
and if you've got punishing,
yeah, right, exactly.
Then punishing. Or you're hitting on 2, so in many cases you're just gonna say like, oh, okay, here are for hits, because you'll have sometimes. I think that might be a risky statement. I think sometimes this team may even find itself with a surplus of command points that will be more easily spent on command rerolls, just because the ploys are not that great, or in many cases situational. So if you put 4 hits in front of a Marine, or it's going to be crit and 3 hits because of severe in some cases, you may put them in a position, okay, so you have to roll all of your 3 saves, otherwise you're taking 6 damage. And if you are taking 6 damage, then even that Cremator can charge you and finish you off with a 4/4 button. So there's that.
Yeah.
It's a power dildo. I call it.
I would just quickly say on the inspirational pyre thing, like I do find it crazy that if you don't kill the model that you're shooting, it's more inspiring to watch them just toasting than it is if they just die outright. So it's like, I don't know.
Yeah, I guess, but it's so given the concept, the terminology they use, it's the operative that becomes inspiring. She's not excited herself. She's
Yeah.
inspiring to others. I don't know what's inspiring about not killing the enemy, but let's say there's something about it. But yeah,
Yeah, it's just odd,
overall
right?
it's a decent operative. And the reason why I think I would play them is that our alternative is just to take more warriors. I think you're still forced to take one warrior, right? So
Yeah, let me just quickly. I have to go through.
so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, you have to take at least one warrior.
Yeah.
And I think that those warriors, yes, if they're inspiring, they get +1 crit damage. But apart from that, yeah, the crossbows become 2/3 P1 Dev 1. Oh, that's not really efficient. You're not going to kill anything with that. You're not likely to deal too much damage. Your bolters become 3/5, which is a bit better. But
Yeah.
is it good enough? Like, I don't know. Like, I think in many cases I will still prefer to have those flamers. Or let me put it that way. When in a previous edition, or even previous season, but in the previous edition I played novitiates, sometimes there were matchups in which I would like to drop one flamer, but not both of them, because there was always some use case for a flamer on your team. And I think it may be the case here as well. So sometimes maybe we will be in a position to take 2 warriors and a flamer rather than 2 flamers and a warrior, or 3 warriors. But yeah, the time will tell.
Yeah, I think it's going to be breakpoints, right? Like, I think it's going to be when you go, okay, actually the 3/3 doesn't work against this team for whatever reason. But maybe you need the long range. Maybe you're playing on, like, I don't know, like you're playing on Beta Decima or something, and you need the ability to shoot across the map. More warriors might be good. And the fact they have sidearms is nice. 4/5 melee is also kind of cool, I guess, as opposed to just 4/4 as standard. Nice. We talked about all those. Denuncia, it's your comms with just so many more hoops attached. I'm trying to think of
So I guess so 2 things. I guess this is the moment where we can describe the chain of things that you need to do to get the best outcome. TP1. So your leader gives out the inspiring token to the reliquaries, which we haven't discussed yet. The reliquaries then goes on a point and hands it out to someone else. Then the denuncier takes it away from one of these models and hands out the benediction 10.1. So this is what you need to do. And if you have a contract, then you may do it again, because you're going to have 2 models that are inspiring TP1. So there's that. Yeah, am I correct in saying that? Because the Denuncier can do it twice. Yeah, so
yes.
so
Denuncier can do it twice. Leader can do it once per turning point, and you can get one.
And reliquaries. So leader is gonna give it to reliquaries. Reliquaries is gonna keep her token, but give it to someone else as well. And then you've got 2 tokens, 13.1, even without any charge. And then you can take both of them between the activation and the counteraction of the Denuncier to hand out 2 benedictions. What you need to remember is that the Denuncier needs to be engaged for that, and she needs to be within 6 of your sisters, both those that she's
and
taking
visible.
the inspiring from, and those that are to gain the benediction. And during all of that, she cannot be a valid target because she may die. So
I think it happens
quite a
on,
lot of hoops.
Tomb World and ITD. You can hide behind doors and do it in certain ways. But you're right. Like on a lot of the time, you don't necessarily, or maybe like a Volker stronghold, like in the corner somewhere. But you're right. Like it's a lot of hoops to be able to get you that. But the main thing is that the majority of the time, if you do that sequence, you're going to get in the turning point 3. Sorry, turning point 1. Sorry, you're going to have 3 inspired operatives
models,
and one of them someone with a benediction. So like, it's like if you do that.
No, because when she uses the ability to speed off her deeds,
yeah, you're right.
She will
Two
take
inspired,
the
one benediction.
or no, it's you're gonna have to because you can't any contract of the reliquaries as well.
No. So
You-
leader has that one inspired.
one,
Reliquarius gets one, so 2 inspired, and then
yeah.
you're gonna have a benediction. 1 benediction,
No,
2
because
inspired, right?
benediction is gonna take
Oh,
away
you
the
lose it,
inspiring
don't you?
token.
You lose it.
Yeah, so basically you can have 2 models that are inspiring without any charge, but depending on the situation, that's the other thing. Another level of complexity of this team is going to be about management of when do you want to have models that are inspiring, and when do you want to just start the TP2 with 3 models on 3 APL.
Yeah.
Because you're going to take away both inspiring tokens against the whole team, for instance, and then give 2 of your guys an extra APL. So, and by then you may start playing like a Harlequin team: charge, kill, shoot, kill, something along those lines. So there's that.
I just feel like this is just so needlessly complicated for like handing out an APL buff.
It's a team designed for me, and yeah, I'm just gonna end so many games like, oh yeah, if I did this and that, and then perform the backflip, the turning point earlier, then I could have won that game.
It's yeah.
Anyway,
That's the
I'm sure
sequence.
there's plenty of such masochists like me that actually will enjoy this team. So good job, GW. And I just to wrap up the Nuncia, I can't wait to see her Voice of Condemnation nerf to Seek Light. Because as of now, it's a full Seek,
it's probably
range 6, stun ability, 5 attacks on 3 up, which may get severe if she's inspired as well. So that's another thing. So it hasn't got blast or of any sort, but full Seek is still a good thing. I hope they don't touch it because, again, she hasn't got a good melee weapon and she hasn't got blast. It's just this screen that she's got. But I wouldn't be surprised if they nerf it, say, no, Seek Light, and in the balancing those, there will be, because she has blast. Oh, but she hasn't got blast. Yeah, we're going to nerf it anyway. So there's that.
She is like such a bad operative for melee and shooting. It is nice being able to hand out the -1 APL, like kind of guaranteed with this if you're inspiring, because 5 attack hit on 3s, you get a single 3 up, you're stunning them. But I don't know, I just feel like she's not like a great candidate for inspiring, even though you can get that free ploy. But I just don't know if that free ploy is worth it personally.
I mean, between the free ploy and an option to stun, that actually might be worth it.
Yeah, I guess if you're throwing it around, and to be fair, you will get. As I said, I think you will get stuff inspired quite quickly. So maybe there is a chance there to say, yeah, okay, you're going to get this. But her main duty, though, I think, is handing out those benedictions, and she wants to be trying to do that as effective as possible. We'll quickly just touch on the Mortis Sanctus, which is the I challenge.
Yeah,
you to
I think before we
lady.
get to this one, we should touch on the Reliquaries because she was part of the combo.
Okay. Yeah. All right, let's do that. So another icon bearer-ish ability. But the other way around. So a -1 APL to your opponent's control for any operatives within 3 inches of this operative, which is good, right? So you have now essentially 2 different methods. One is buffing your APL, and one is reducing your APL or the opponent's APL to control crit op, which I think is good. When we talk about play style, it's going to come into that quite a lot. And you want to be sitting this lady on an objective to be able to then hand out more inspiring abilities, I think. So other than that, I mean, she's got no melee weapons, and she has a stake thrower and a bolt pistol. That's it, really. Like,
Yeah, she's quite bad, but in a way, I think she's necessary because she gives that extra inspiring.
yeah, like
Okay, I can see use cases where you drop her, and you just take an extra warrior just to kill your enemy.
Against like horde teams,
If
like
you
against like
Yeah, like a horde team,
yeah.
I can see that, because against the horde team, you just want to get in and then knock them into the ground, and you'll be fine with that. Or like, and she's I mean, into hordes, she's got her bolter, but other than that, she's probably there to just hand out inspiring, whereas and where you need it, there's a chance that she will be an operative that you will leave on the bench every now and then.
Again, like potentially you can babysit her with the Abjura, to make it so that you can't actually fight her in melee. You have to fight that one instead. But
Actually,
again, it's like
I would probably prefer to babysit someone else. Have this one be put in a position. Yeah, turning point one, she's gonna give out the inspiring to someone else because she's gonna be inspiring herself. And then turning point two, I would like to take her inspiring away to give the benediction to someone else. Have her killed because I'm losing one of the worst operatives in my team. Kill my enemy in return, and yeah, like yeah, that's probably what you want to be looking at.
she's there to die, right? Which again,
Yeah, as in like, this is one of those models that I will probably not waste the miracle dice on, like the just a scratch dice on. It's like, yeah, unless I'm, of course, unless I'm gaining victory points out of that. But this is probably one of those models that is like, oh no, she's dead and she was inspiring, so someone else is gonna get a benediction, and now I'm gonna kill you in return. So in a way, this is the model that you would want to trade for something that is better than her,
yeah, and I
if
think
you
like
have to trade.
you can charge her onto an objective and pass, right? Because when she charges, she becomes inspired. You're -1 to objective control, so you probably control it against most people, and then you can say, "Yeah, hit someone else is now inspiring." Cool.
Yeah,
Like,
I guess
it shows.
this is definitely her upside, because a marine on its own, most marines at least, they do not take an objective away from her by themselves.
Yeah,
Um, if you combine her with the sensor, then they've got what, 4 APL, but they count as 5,
yeah.
and the opponent counts as -1. So you would need 3 Marines to take an objective out of their hands. So that's quite good. So I guess he has a potential role when it comes to taking the objectives, or holding the home objective and just scoring it, or whatnot. So there's that.
And like the gun butt for staying alive with severe and just parrying out is kind of the same as anything else if you're just going to parry. Sure, you're only 3 attacks, but you're hitting on 3 still, so it's kind of like what else?
Yeah, and then because I think she will quite often get inspiring the turning point one, just because she can hand it to someone else. So it's like a free inspiring that you can bounce 6 inches further away.
Yeah,
If you keep her on an objective, someone's like, okay, cool, I'm just gonna charge and kill her, because she's got that severe, because she hits on freeze on those 3 attacks, and because she has 9 wounds with potential damage negation from that ploy, and the miracle dice, she's actually not that likely to die in the first place. So
she just sits there and just holds objective.
yeah, it's like a weird roadblock that sometimes opponents might decide not to even try to kill because she doesn't do much.
Yeah, she's not killing anyone, but she's just holding the
Yeah,
objective.
she's just annoying, I would say. That's it.
And we'll talk about playstyle a bit, but I do think she does lend it to the playstyle of the team, which is just not dying on objectives. So finally, we'll just quickly touch on the Mortis Sanctus, which is the issue a challenge lady, essentially, with the Lethal 5 Brutal Power Weapon, which is pretty good, which also has pre-parry, or pre-block, however you would describe it. So essentially, she just has, like, if you're within 8 inches, she can challenge you. If you accept the challenge, then she's +1
She gets
attack.
+1 attack against you. If you decline the challenge, the entire team gets -1 attack against her. So I think in most cases, the correct play is to accept the challenge.
Yeah.
and then preferably kill her with something else,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
then then you prevent
Benefit.
the benefit. But her role is to be in a weird position where you have your opponent in range, you issue a challenge, and if they don't kill you, you kill them. That's where you want to be with that operative. The cool thing is that she gets the pre-parry, so if she does have 5 attacks, and even if she charges, it's like, okay, I'm gonna parry, then I can parry, then you're gonna hit me, I'm gonna try to miracle dice, and if I succeed, just a scratch. If I don't, I get -1 damage, and then I can parry you again, maybe, because I've got 5 attacks. So she's quite, or I can kill you depending on the situation. But if I focus on not dying with that operative, she's like almost like the shield lady.
Yeah.
So almost like her. So again, a downside, she will probably use one of the crack grenades. Ongoing theme with this team that, as I said, clumsy Space Marines. They forgot shooting weapons. Some of those that took the shooting weapons decided to take the water pistols. It's like,
She didn't
we
bring the
have to
water
be
stuff.
very selective as to what we want to kill with which operatives, because we don't have too many damage dealers on this team. But if we do want to spec into that damage dealing side of things, because we're playing into, let's say, an 7-8 wound models team, we may decide to just skip some of the models, some of the operatives, not her, but some of the operatives, just take the warriors and just go full forward.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think I think she's interesting. Like I think she's one of your heavy hittings, and I think brutal power weapon is like actually very very good at killing a lot of models. Like so, I think people don't
Yeah,
realize how good that is against killing elites. So she is like an elite hunter for you.
challenge against your ages.
Um, yeah, right. Like your agent needs to roll a lot of crits to be staying alive, and because if you don't roll 2 crits, she's definitely gonna parry the first one with severe, whatever happens.
Yeah.
So like you need to have a lot of crits to be able to not be doing that against her. That's the operative selection. As and you've already sort of I think touched on it. You're probably taking the majority of the specialists, and then just debating maybe throwing in some warriors as and when. But the majority of the time, I think the specialists are worth it. Should we talk playstyle, and how you would play this team, and how you're going to try and win with them? And we can then also roll into tac ops as well, a little bit with that as well.
So first of all, if you're a filthy meta chaser like Ryan, just play Mattering.
This isn't the team for
Um,
you.
as in, like,
If
I
you're
think it's
smooth
not a team for
brained,
those people who just prefer to pick the strongest teams in the metagame. So
yeah,
all the Wolf Scouts on release aficionados, all the players that long waited for Canoptic Circle, and they have always loved the lore of Necrons. And now all of a sudden they're in a position where they have always loved the lore of Sisters of Battle. This is not a team for you.
yeah,
This is a team that, on like my first read, I was like, what the actual F? The dictionary of a gentleman has no words um, derogatory enough to describe the situation. It's appalling, abysmal. I'm unhappy they took my faith dice away. It has come down to a situation where I actually have to roll dice in a dice game, and it's unacceptable. And then I read it again, and then again, I was like, there's a cool trick here, there's a cool trick there. And by the way, they have one of the important things when it comes to my kill team preferences: they don't die easily.
yeah. It's true.
Um, so that means that in many cases, your opponent will have to put way more resources than they would like to, or they will underestimate the toughness and durability of these models. So in a way, you're very tanky, you'll sit on the objectives. In certain cases, you can switch up a bit, take more warriors and cremators, and provided your opponent actually dies to 4/4 damage, um, you will just charge and kill them and go forward. So I think the depth is there. The power level, as of now, I'm gonna risk it. It's gonna be like top of C or maybe bottom of B tier.
Yeah, I think
That's what I would put them. Like that B is the risk I'd say. Or maybe let's put them in B tier. Let's be optimistic about them. That's where I would put them, like in the vacuum. Like they're definitely not an S tier team. They may prove to be much stronger than I'm suspecting, and they may end up in A. But I would say this is a team that will have a fairly high skill floor,
100%. Yeah.
lots of skill expression, plenty of depth, and one where when you find yourself like 100 games in, you'll be like, oh, cool, there's this thing I could do. I had no idea about. So, so yeah, I think it's a great team. At least for me, I plan to play them. Yeah, it's one of the biggest hobby projects for me. But yeah, let's not dwell on that. The playstyle, they will, depending on what is your plan, they may struggle into elite, they may struggle into mid range, they may struggle into hordes. Into hordes, I think I want to kind of play them like elves, as in like harlequins. So I want to be aggressive because I'm tanky. I'm killing enough to potentially double kill if I have free APL, or maybe combine the psych out grenades with a frag grenade, or that D3 on the chart. So there's that, or the torrent from the flame or whatnot. What else? When I'm playing into Marines, I know and I have to accept that I'm not killing a single Marine in one go, which is not great.
Yeah.
But they will hold objective markers quite well. I think better than Marines overall because they've got more APL combined. I mean, I guess the same amount of APL combined, because no, more, because 19 versus 18 or 15. But
And you're going to
there
be
is
able to
that
go
icon,
to.
there is a debuff,
Yeah.
there is extra APL that you get from benedictions. So very quickly you might end up with more APL on the board. So I think this will be quite good. So in a way, tanky reactive team that will be in a position to transform into more aggressive mid range when facing other mid ranges and hordes. That's what I would say.
Yeah. So
Sorry
my
for going on off a tangent.
so my read for sort of play style is this team is very much like a crit op focused team. So like you want to get on those objectives, you want to hold them, and you want to tie them down, right? So you've got two different icons, which means you can hold sort of your own objective, your opponent's objective, or the center and whatever. You've got that sort of that flexibility. You've got easy access to 3 APL, which means you're really going to have 4 APL holding a lot of these things. So it feels like for just holding down the core objectives, this team's probably got it. The bit I think they're going to struggle with a little bit is tac ops. If this team had recon, I actually think they'd be pretty good. Because they can do the retrieval so well, right? Like, I'm going to move on objectives, I'm going to control it, take something from the objective, and then probably not die very easily. And then if I do finally die, I then become stronger as a team, and I'm able to pick up more of these objectives. But they don't have that, right? So you're sort of forced into, I think, like plant banner. You're not the most killy team, so potentially you can run dominate and try and get some kills and stay alive. But I'm not sure if you're going to be getting enough kills a lot of the time.
So I think tac ops is one of the most problematic parts of this team.
Mm.
And this team has like plenty of problematic bits, but tac ops is one of them. Yeah, like your melee operatives don't shoot, so you need those cracks. Your gambits and ploys are not that great, and most of them are situational. You get only free equipment, and one of them is extremely good, but the other one of them is decent, and one of them is like so-so. So it's like there's so many aspects of this team which is like, not where I would want to be ideally. And then the tac ops on top of that, as you said, like we've got security and seek and destroy. So security, Martis, like just forget about it. Like just please don't. Like you've got 9 operatives, and you don't want to put yourself in a position to lose an operative in order to get a chance to score victory points out of that. Yes, I know about Martyrdom and Benediction. Don't do that. You've got 9 operatives. You can't lose them to potentially score points. This is not the plan. You're losing them when they have done their job and they killed something already. So this is the plan. So we're not playing Martyrs. So Envoy or Plant Banner into Marines. I can potentially see them playing Envoy. On specific maps, maybe you do get free APL every now and then. You may get a dash from the Benediction, so you may be able to like, oh, I'm gonna dash and I'm gonna move dash very far away just to score 2 points. So that may be a possibility. Other than that, you may want to have that Plant Banner, as you put it, and then maybe combine the Reliquaries and the Sensor to say these 2 ladies will hold that, and you need 3 Marines to take that away from them, which is quite good. So that is a tackle that I would probably consider into Marines as well. Sorry, and then into other themes. If you're killing enough to have your base sisters, so your baseline warriors and cremators, killing an operative in 1 activation, so they need to die to 4 damage. That means that at most they need to have 8 wounds. But if you're good at that, you may consider taking stuff like Rout or Dominate. And Rout may be an option because of that, like super long charge, or the move and dash 10 inches and shoot. So that may be an option. But yeah, it's definitely not an easy situation to be in. I agree, they're very much a crit up team. They should play kill up quite well. I don't remember the thresholds for a 9 model operative team, but
Oh, good question. All right.
it's probably gonna be what, 2, 4, 7, 9.
That sounds right, but now I'm gonna have to go look because I don't.
2, 4, 7, 9 is what I would guess, or 2, 4, 6, 9. No, 2, 4, 7, 9. I think this is what it's gonna be.
I think the issue that
If it's 2, 4, 7, 9, then I'm actually quite happy. I should probably know that, judging the amount of games I play, but
it's how many times you look at that specific.
yeah, 9
9
operatives
operative
kill
ones.
team. It's so yeah. There's that. So if
9 is 2, 4, 5, 7, and then 9. 2,
2,
4,
4,
5, 7, 9. So you'd have to kill to get kill grade 3. You have to kill over half the team. Kill 5.
5, 5. That's actually not great.
Yeah, I mean, it's okay. Like 2, 4. Like it's kind of a big jump. So only one.
Yeah,
jump
I
to
mean,
5,
like it's
and
not
then
great
2
that,
to 7,
then
but
between 4 and 5 there is a kill grade point, and a very relevant one to get up to 3, because the jump between 2 and 3 is actually extremely relevant. But I think they should still play it quite well, just because it's not going to be easy to kill 5 of them. Because if you think about it, in many ways they will behave like Space Marines. It's not easy to kill 5 Space Marines. So I think it is also possible that they will just hold the kill grade quite low for the opponent. Maybe a team that will fall set and lower score. So you definitely have to be mindful of the tack up that the opponent is running. Because if your plan is to say, all right, I'm gonna keep their kill grade low, I'm gonna take the crit up, and my tack up is not gonna be that great. So you need to be mindful of what they play, even more than with other teams.
yeah, I think so. My read on this is, so I played against them. That my opponent played martyrs, and my game plan was I'll just kill everything that's not on an objective, and that went pretty well. And then you're left with a bunch of icon bearers still on objectives, and I don't care because like, I've killed the rest of the team, right? So like that's why I don't necessarily like martyrs. You've exposed these models, you put them forward. There's like quite obvious bait, and you don't have to take the bait. I do think there is some good utility with the plant banner and the way the team wants to work, which is you want to have a whole bunch of nuns and sisters all within 6 inches of each other. So you're probably like dominating one area of the board, and you can then put a banner in it, and it's kind of like a come in here if you want, but then I can kill you. But like, and if you don't come in here, then I'm going to score my points. And even if you do come in here, I'm still probably going to get 3 because you're not going to be able to have sufficient APL to control my banner. You can come and test it for sure, but you're not going to control it. So I'm going to probably control it, and I'm going to get like minimum 3. And I think dominate,
which I think is good enough. Which I think is,
like, I think it's
in many cases, good enough. It's like it's good enough for it to be acceptable in competitive context, where you say like you can consistently score 3, maybe 4 points. That in many cases is good enough. Yeah.
I think that's probably how the team plays. Is like you want to lock down crit up, you want to get yourself a decent amount of points on tack up, and then not give away too much on kill up. And I think if you can do those things, you've got a route to victory. Well, when we've talked about like power level as a whole, I think the difficulty is that you're expending a lot of brain power to figure that out, right? Like you need to do the right sequence every turning point to make sure you have the inspiring in the right place and the benedictions in the right place, and you've chosen the right benediction, and like you have to do all these things to be able to then get to have a what is like a not optimal but like a decent game plan, like to be able to score okay.
Yeah, in a way, I wouldn't recommend this team for anyone who's like a fresh beginner to Killteam.
It's not the one.
Because they're gonna be in for a very bumpy ride, and it's playing this team may very well be like building a house of cards, and like having read the rules, when I compare them against my current choice, so I played predominantly Halfkin salvages. I'm like, do I want to play them over salvages? Are they good enough? They're different. Like, yeah, I may want to because they're a reactive kill team that has a twist to it. They do something else than other teams do. The ability to lock crit up, take maybe primary on crit up, may be good enough to consistently outscore your opponent, because if you lock the crit up in certain missions, that means that you're already ahead. Then you take primary and crit up, you will score, let's say, like 3-4 in a banner, and you know that you're likely to score a bit more on kill grade, or at the very least keep the kill grade quite low. That may be enough to win the game. So there's that. Of course, there will be teams which will be problematic. Like killing Marines with this team is problematic in the first place. Killing chunky 20 wound models is also problematic. At the same time, I don't think that enemy operatives should willingly get stuck into melee with sisters, because over time they will just grind you out. They will just kill you over time. So there's that. It actually, in many cases, may be a mistake to charge one of the melee sisters with a marine, because you're not expecting to kill her, you're expecting to die over like several combats. So there's that.
And I think so, like in the context of the current meta, where you look at it and you go, okay, like how many good shooting teams are there versus how many good melee teams, that sort of stuff. Like this team feels like it's going to be dictated by the meta a lot. Like if you've got really good melee teams out there, I think this is a good counter pick to those
Oh
teams.
yeah, 100%. As soon as Ravenous and stuff like Felgor come back, like Gormongers, yeah, this is exactly the team that wants to play against them, because like they still have free up save, and that means that whatever shooting you might have, like I'm very unlikely to die from it. And in melee, if a Marine cannot kill me, neither can you, mate.
Yeah.
So
the only downside is the team that is balanced against this team is Murderwing, and I just feel like they
did you say
actually,
did you
I
use
say
the word balanced
yeah.
and Murderwing in one sentence?
And they just go in and just kill stuff.
Dear community, I somehow know what is the next team Ryan's going to play. We heard him telling stories about how balanced Deathwatch is for months. Now we're gonna hear stories that Murdering is actually not that bad. If you think about it, they're just a boring Marine team that flies and deals a lot of damage, and that's it.
This is
right?
the Murderwing podcast, but hear me out. -1 operative straight away. Just make them a 5 operative team, and I think they're probably okay. They being a 6 operative Marine team with all the stuff they can do is just insane. It's so like this team, as we said, like is a hard team to play. Right, you're having to think a lot about all these things, and you're making like these really difficult decisions. And you're going to go against a Murderwing player who is like basically just going to go, I'm going to charge you and fight you, and I've got the damage potential to probably actually kill you. And if I mess up and roll really badly, I'm just going to run out of the combat and say that I actually didn't charge you because I resolve a crit and run away. Like what? Like why do they have that so easy versus this team, which feels like it's so much
to stage thrower.
So yeah, so I think low beta is where it sits. I think as we said though, based on the meta, that might change based on how the approved ops change. Maybe that changes it as well, potentially quite a bit. But if I was to try and take this team, I would say you want to be focusing on getting those crit up points. You want to take attack up, which is going to get you some reliable scoring. And then just try not to lose too much on your kill up. Use your durability to your advantage. And even though your sort of like faction ability is dying, don't lean into dying, like because that's probably not.
No. The faction ability is Benediction. Forget about the Martyrdom part. The Benediction is supposed to be handed out by the Denuncia, not dying.
Not by dying.
Yeah. Your faction ability is inspiring. And one more thing is that, yes, we're calling to Psychers, but the thing is, if someone has an option not to take that Psyker and just take someone else instead, and they still do take that Psyker, they can only blame themselves. So I would say I wouldn't expect my opponents to take Psychers if they have an alternative option that is like straight up better.
Yeah, I think you're right. It just forces them to change up their team comp most of the time, unless they're locked into it.
That's it.
I think we've covered everything. But is there any more secret sauce that you've got on the team that you wanna share from your?
Let me play some games.
We'll do
preferably that. Like 3-digit numbers. And yeah.
We'll grind out a quick 100 games, and then we'll revisit this deep dive and see it. But I do genuinely think there's some really useful stuff in there, which I think people won't have got from just reading the rules, because it does take a bit of time to process this and actually go through it and think about it and try to figure out like how do you use this in the best possible way. So hopefully people have found this useful and they can get a little bit more out of this team, because it does feel like this is with a team that's going to struggle out of the box set, and the Marine team is going to be the one that's going to thrive out of the box set, which isn't going to be useful for the continued narrative of power creep, right? Because everyone's going to say, look at the power creep, it's crazy, and then forget that this is like a not powerful team, but they're going to hyper fixate on Murderwing, which
that is true, but at the same time, and I'm not saying that is an okay team when it comes to balance, but when it comes to sisters, I'm actually glad that they do have certain quite obvious weaknesses. You can
Yeah,
try to mitigate those weaknesses, but they still exist. Um, if we had a team that is as difficult to shift, as tanky as nuns are, and on top of that, they would play pack up extremely well, or they would be extremely killy to the extent that Marines just snap of fingers die, it would not be healthy for the game. They would very quickly become toxic, and I can foresee certain players facing nuns without a plan, already seeing them as toxic because they're like,
yeah,
I can't kill them. Like, yeah, because you have to put a lot of effort into killing them, and you have to plan around it, and you have to ultimately plan which ones do you want to kill them. Of course, if your opponent messes up, they will just fall like a house of cards, but um mm, it's not gonna be as straightforward for either player, and ultimately that's a good thing. This game is supposed to be, at least looking at our desires, a skill expression game. So in a way, yeah, I think it's a good product when it comes to the team itself.
yeah.
So there's that.
And I think like as you highlighted earlier, they've they've got a lot of depth to them, right? Like each figuring out the combos is going to be difficult, and probably quite rewarding to be able to get it right. But you are also going to have to invest a lot in doing so.
Yeah,
Considering who's getting inspiring, who you're pushing up, all those sorts of stuff, because all of it matters. Like your durability is linked to your inspiring, your the fact that you have these just a scratch abilities, all that sort of stuff is like it's all really important. But you have to have a game plan. You have to really know what you're doing with them.
yeah.
I
So
think that's good.
just to get it out of the way, while I still have a chance, this message is directed to the likes of Tom Robinson and Ben Hall Roberts. If this team is viable for WTC, don't even think about it. Don't even think about it. It's mine, and yeah, just want to get it out of the way. Uh, this is yeah. Thank you. This is the end of my personalized end of January wishes for our dear colleagues.
You're jumping on it. You're going to commit to it. Well, I really do appreciate you coming on, Bart,
No problem.
and sharing the love. Right, we'll do another one of these, and we'll focus it on the Murder Wing team. It's going to be probably a little bit easier to talk through because they've got a lot more fun, easy to play stuff. But I think it was good to get someone who actually knows a lot about that kind of style of play, and that faction is genuinely interested in it to talk about it, because I wouldn't be able to go into that much detail, so I really do appreciate it. If people are interested and they like this content and they want to get more of it, please consider throwing a like, subscribe. You can join the Patreon for £3 a month, and it helps support the channel, and gets people like Bart to help me out, which is awesome. So please consider doing all of that. Bart, any final shout outs? You've done your WTC stake already, but anything else you want to pardon at the end?
Well, thank you for inviting me again. I must be boosting those views massively, because it's yet another situation where you invite me to this podcast. So I massively appreciate that. I'm really grateful to get a chance to speak about the game that I like, and the teams that I like. So there's that. Big shout out to the old ones, my team. Great bunch of guys, and I wouldn't be where I am without this community, and without the team. And by that I'm saying I would definitely be much worse of a player. So there's that. And yeah, I guess I wish uh, all the Sisters of Battle enjoyers some endurance and enough sustainability in the conviction to play this team, to actually get to a point where, like, yeah, I actually enjoy this, even though they do have certain obvious shortcomings. So there's that. Yeah, thanks a lot, and enjoy the rest of your day, evening, or whatever part of the day you're listening to this. And yeah, I guess see you next time.
So we'll see you all next time, and that's the rally call, Sister Battle people. Drop in the comments any of the tips and tricks that you have found out whilst reading those rules, and you think, actually, that's just triggering in my brain. Share it with the rest of them, so that hopefully you can all have great success with the latest Sister Battle team. Thanks so much for watching and listening.
Oh, before we sign off, actually,
one more tip.
Which operative is the best on this team?
Abjura.
Yeah, I'd say so. I wanted to say the same thing. And the second one is probably the leader. It's probably the leader.
It's the leader,
and the third one is probably the Multi Sanctums. So that's your trio.
Yeah, the 11 wounds, double parry, shield lady. She's just a beast.
Yeah.
I mean, it's got to be her, right? So, what do you like? Okay.
I guess.
But again, to the
lady.
community, what do you think? Like, are we wrong? Like, but I think the shield lady.
Of course we are.
Like, sister shield lady, like Aegis with boobs is got to be the best one on the team. Maybe I'm wrong. All right, we'll sign it off here. Thanks so much for watching. We'll be on the next episode and talk about Murder Wing very soon. So take it easy, all. See you next time.
Bye.
That brings us to the end of the episode. Hopefully you found something new or useful while listening, and if you did, throwing us a like would be greatly appreciated. If you want to make sure you don't miss any episodes, make sure you hit that subscribe button and click on the bell so you get notifications as soon as the next one drops. It really is the best way to help a small channel like ours. And if you can't wait and you do want early access, we have a Patreon where you can get exclusive access to all our content ahead of time. As always, we'd love to hear your thoughts and feedback. Just drop a comment below and we'll get right to you. Thank you so much for listening. I'm your host Ryan, this has been Turning Point Tactics, and we'll see you next week.